Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to walk you through something a lot of people end up dealing with, but almost nobody ever talks about: what to do when you need a short-term car for a few months. And those of you who have been following my channel will know that recently I had a lemon repurchase of my previous car, a Mercedes GLS 63 AMG. And if you haven't watched that video, please take a look at that as well when you get a chance. It was actually repurchased on a lemon lot, which meant suddenly I didn't have another car. So I unexpectedly found myself needing a bridge car for about 6 months while I wait for the new 2027 remodeled AMG GLS 63 to come out. So the problem here is the timing. The 2027 model likely won't arrive until October or November, which means I need something to drive in the meantime. So the question became, do I rent a car for 6 months or do I buy something temporarily? At first glance, renting sounds easier. There's no resale, no depreciation risk, no paperwork. You just turn the car back in and you walk away. But when I actually ran the numbers, renting was shockingly expensive. I looked directly through websites, Budget, Avis. I even went through Costco because I am a Costco member. And because I have 2 kids, I couldn't just rent a small, compact, cheapest car. I needed at least an SUV. And even a basic SUV rental over 6 months is easily $1,000 to $1,200 per month, sometimes more. I think the cheapest quote that I saw for that 6 months was through Costco rental, and it was about $8,400. And you have absolutely nothing to show for it at the end when you turn it in. So I started thinking about it differently. What if instead of renting, I buy a car that holds its value well, drive it for 6 months, and then sell it? This seemed to make more sense to me, primarily because I don't commute too far, so the mileage would even be low when I end up turning it in 6 months. So the real cost isn't the purchase price at this point, it's the depreciation. And if you choose the right vehicle, that depreciation can actually be much lower than renting. So that's how the idea of the bridge car was born. Once I decided to buy instead of rent, my next question became, what car holds its value the best in 6 months? Lots of great cars I considered, but I narrowed my choices down to a Toyota RAV4 and a Honda CR-V. Primarily those two because I've driven both of them throughout my life. I've had older models and I genuinely like them both. They're both known for excellent reliability and resale value, which is critical when you're planning to sell the car shortly after buying it. But there was a catch. The RAV4 market in my area is wild, and I'd love to hear your guys' experiences in the comments below. A lot of these used RAV4s were priced extremely high, sometimes the same price as the new vehicles, and those salesmen weren't willing to really budge on those. And on top of that, Toyota has just released a new RAV4 redesign, and that car is selling over asking. So that also made me a little more nervous about buying a used model, primarily because none of the salesmen were willing to budge, even though I would say, hey, well, when I go to trade this one in, it's not going to hold its value as much as they used to because there's a new model out. They would just say, no, it will. Perhaps I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. But all of that pushed me towards the CR-V. Now, here's the funny part. Even the CR-Vs actually weren't being discounted. Apparently, in 2026, the new car buying strategy is just pay almost full price and be grateful, which are modern problems that we're all facing, right? So after looking around, I eventually found something interesting. The brand new 2026 CR-Vs at the lots in my area were actually being discounted much more heavily than any of the used models. The dealer was willing to give me a better discount up front. And I know that they have certain incentives of selling the new cars that they have, so perhaps that was part of it. And those of you in the car industry, if you have any insights into that, I'd love to hear more about that in the comments below. But when I ran the numbers, a new car made more sense financially than buying even a used one. And luckily the CR-V, there's no major remodel. So even though I know it's a new car and it's going to depreciate more technically or in theory than buying a used one, it just bothered me to pay, to save only $100 and have the used car. I'd rather just pay $100 more and have a new car. But let me know if I was wrong. Now, I did get a discount on that 2026 model because there was a ton on the lot, and I simply called a few dealerships in my area and I said, I'm flexible in colors and trim. Let me know which of your 2026 Honda CR-Vs you're willing to move. And that's how I made my decision. So the discounts and incentives I received on a new car just made more sense than going used. Now, whether or not that's going to help in the long run, when I turn it in, time will tell, and I'll definitely make a new video to let you guys know about that whole experience when the 2027 comes up. Here it is, the 2026 CR-V EX I decided to go with.
It's a nice car, reliable, comfortable, no complaints. Interior is quite spacious. This trim has the heated seats, independent climate control, of course the adaptive cruise control, which is a must for me. Yeah, all in all, very happy.
I chose that specific CRV not only because I thought it would hold its value more, that mid trim versus just the base trim, but also I'm going to be driving the car for 6 months and I want to drive something that I actually am comfortable in and enjoy. And those little tiny extras, in my opinion, were worth the price premium versus the base trim. So that's the story behind my 6 month bridge car strategy. Instead of renting, I bought a car that I hope will hold its value well and hopefully minimize the cost of driving something while I wait for the car I really want. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my purchase and whether or not I made the right move of buying versus renting. Would you have chosen something different for a 6 month bridge car? And feel free to tell me what I did wrong. I'm always curious to hear other perspectives. Thanks for watching, and I'm excited to share the 2027 GLS 63 with you when it arrives. So please like and subscribe and follow. That way you're notified immediately when that video drops. Thanks and take care.